Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to take a minute and talk about our dream home on a budget and the sketches you need to do before you start modeling anything in CAD. Now, to start, I want you to take a few minutes and envision what you want for your dream home. Now, this is a very rough sketch. This is bare minimum points of what I think you should be envisioning. Now, as I'm picturing it, I'm trying to picture the house, the building, whatever it is I'm doing from the front, and I'm drawing a sketch on paper. Now, I'll demo that later. That's actually stuff we already covered earlier in the quarter. Actually earlier in the semester. But once I've got that, I can then sit down and I can say, okay, how do I want to arrange my rooms? And that is a separate piece of sketching. So I will sit down and do this, and I'd go in and I'd fill in all the stuff. I'd put like, page 2 of, and I'd put dream home on a budget. Budget. I can't spell it. It's such a Monday. All right. So, and then I might use a straight edge to just give myself a line under here so it separates it off. But you notice I really won't use a straight edge for anything here. I will put in my idea here. I'll put some notes on this. I'll explain it. Now, if you go in here and look at it, you need to do a few things. Like one of our bell work assignments, in fact, probably the one you're going to get today, says prompt. In 2 to 10 minutes, write a very brief statement of your design thoughts, theories, and philosophy. Now, guys and girls, this is not deep thoughts. This is not deep, hard philosophy. Why do you design? What do you like? What don't you like? You'll write it in no more than about 5 sentences, no less than 2. Okay? I will check your grammar, but I expect you to be able to articulate what it is you like and what you think. That's the long and short of it. It's not about matching what I want. It's about understanding yourself and seeing what's in your head. Now, as I'm looking at this, I've got some notes on here. I am absolutely going to insist that you start talking about green building technology. Now, we're not going to harp on it. It doesn't have to be something you incorporate. But if you can come up with a net zero design and incorporate the leadership and energy efficient design, that's what LEED, you'll see it right here, stands for. Leadership and energy efficient design. We definitely want that in our design work. It's becoming a huge part of our world. If we can have a close to net zero home design, beautiful. Now, if you have not picked out a property for yourself, we'll talk about that later on. But if you haven't, I have one for you. It's actually a relatively flat square lot. It is literally 132 feet wide by 132 feet deep, or 8 rods by 8 rods. And it is a south-facing lot. Now, as you work on that, that's something you can use, or you can pick out your own. That's normal. So walk your way through and start designing. Now, this is just a idea, and then I start with a bubble, and then I will literally convert this into a box drawing like we did on our first sketches, and then from there I'll convert that into a more finalized front elevation of my home here. Now, that's important. This is me trying to get my thoughts on paper. That front elevation is me trying to refine my thoughts and get it there. You will have to do all of the above to get full credit for this, okay? You're actually going to get about 3 full class periods to do this in. So you'll actually have class tomorrow, and while you're having class, we'll probably put up one of the documentary videos, so you might borrow inspiration from it. Like if we're watching the Frank Lloyd Wright video in the background, or one of the engineering modern marvels or whatever on architecture or structure that we have as a class set, watch those. Look at them. See what you can gain from those people. See what what inspiration it brings out in you. But that's the whole point of this. It's not meant to make you copy them. It's meant to make you think. It's meant to make you process. Now, like I said, we will go, this is your first piece, and can be very rough. This one obviously is. This one right here is a bubble drawing, and it can be refined. In fact, if you look right here in my design, you know, it's this space right here that I'm hatching in. There's nothing there. None of those bubbles touch. That is still inside my building. It'll actually be taken up in space. So I actually have to plan for all this. And then what I do is I move this to a box drawing. I'll see if things don't line up and make adjustments. I do have a patio planned on the back. I actually put some arrows on here to show where I will have travel paths. Like you'll notice, this reading area and this big great room, this is all going to be one open space through here. That's the plan right now. The kitchen, yes, the kitchen right here. That is okay. It's just hiding. Okay, the kitchen right there. It's actually going to be incorporated into this, but it's an open floor plan in this design. I've only used the boxes to lay things out. So you're going to spend some quality time and sketch it out. These will be hanging on the board as we go. Now, as far as hand skills, Hand Skills 1 comes up due this week as well. Hand Skills 1 is drawing from observation. Literally take and look around your neighborhood. I don't care if you draw a doghouse. I don't care if you draw the fence line, your house, the neighbor's house, what have you. I don't care if you draw in the commons at the school. I want you to look at something and study it and try to draw it as either a two-dimensional elevation or as a three-dimensional rendering or sketch. And you can use 1 point, 2 point, multi-point perspective. I don't care. You can draw it flat as if it's an elevation. I'm looking to see that you're looking at your environment and trying your very best to draw it. That's why we do all those hand skills. They go in your stuff, in your portfolio, so that your stuff can be documented and your learning can proceed. Now, one thing I will point out, hand skills number 2 is literally that, guys and girls. That is the solution to it. And it's not completely labeled out. Remember, that's actually in our course. You can actually look it up. This is just a typical wall section. But when we go in and we start talking about it, I want you to be able to identify all the parts of a wall from the foundation all the way up to the rafters. I want you to be able to identify what pieces go in here. Like, I don't even have the drip edge on here yet that has to be here. I don't have the felt underlayment listed. I don't have the insulation listed here. My arrows are different sizes. I've got to clean that up. But what it's doing is it's requiring me to put into my notes and process what goes into a building. That's what the hand skills are all about. So, in all honesty, most of the stuff this week and next is all about pencil work. There's hardly a straight edge involved. Now, obviously, the hand skills too, I use a straight edge. I'm okay with that. This stuff, don't need a straight edge. I don't care if you use graph paper. When you get to the elevations, when you get to the box drawing, yeah, dig out a straight edge if you want, but you don't have to. It's all about neatness, accuracy, and communication. Okay? So take your time, walk your way through it, and that's what we're looking for from you. This is your design. Now, one word of warning. When we start talking about dream home on a budget, I'm going to tell you right up front, there's always somebody that wants to design a monster building. Guys and girls, if you exceed 2,000 square feet on a ground floor, I am going to question you on it. Just know that. A large home can be anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet on the ground floor. The question is, how big do you really want it to be? This one has 2 bedrooms, a living room, a reading room, a large dining area, a family room, a kitchen, 2 baths, 2 walk-in closets, all on the ground floor. And it's roughly, I can do the math, I think it's roughly 2,400 square feet. And it's got a full basement planned in it. It doesn't have an upper floor. It's got some passive solar add-ons planned in it. But don't get too huge. Remember, how big do you really want it? How big, what do you want in your house? You might want to make a wants and needs list. And if I do that, I go in on my plan here as I'm doing this, and I figure out what I really want and what I really need. Okay? Yes, and I literally put it in. I was like, okay, wants list, needs list. I need at least 1 bathroom. I want 2. I need a kitchen. Do I want 2? No. In my kitchen, I need the following appliances. So how much space do those take up? What kind of activities will I be using that kitchen for? Like, do I have large family gatherings? Do I need to plan 2 ovens or maybe a range with a separate double ovens? Or do I have a built-in microwave in the wall? And if I do that, well, is it the wall or do I put it in the hood? Do I want to, the looks? You plan it out. What you want there. Am I going to have a fireplace in this? Yes. In my case, I always want a fireplace. Mostly because I want an alternate heat source just in case the power goes out. Because, in our area, the power never goes out, right? So, as you do this, I want you to think through and plan it out. This takes time and effort. Okay, I'll hang the examples on the board as we get going, but you're going to have to spend the quality time to do it. Okay, so good luck, have fun, and we will see you in class. Bye.